area, and on the right side of this fenced-in area, you're going to see a red semi-trailer parked over here. On top of that red semi-trailer is the new emergency abort system for our new capsule, the Orion capsule. That's actually a missile. It attaches to the top of the Orion capsule if there's any kind of an event or emergency at launch. It'll jettison the capsule away from the rocket and away from the launch pad, get the astronauts to safety, reaching a speed of almost 500 miles per hour. They had a launch last week from Cape Canaveral Air Force Station of the abort system, and that's what it was that launched. Coming up here on the right is the Orbiter XS arm, or the Crew XS arm, attached to the White Room right here. This great piece of equipment here is a walkway. Every single astronaut that boarded the shuttle here at the Kennedy Space Center walked on that very walkway into that White Room and boarded the shuttles from the White Room. Over here on the right is the M113 Armored Personnel Carrier, which is a vehicle they would use to get the astronauts away from 39A in case of any kind of an emergency before launch during the Apollo program and the shuttle program. If you look out the right side of the bus, once we get in the middle of the intersection here, you get a better view of the Boeing Starliner.
Even though rockets often launch from Kennedy Space Center, astronauts have not traveled to space from the United States since the last shuttle mission in 2011. NASA's Commercial Crew program is bringing human spaceflight back to American soil. In 2018, NASA announced the astronauts who will fly these historic missions. For the first time, NASA astronauts will ride to the International Space Station aboard spacecraft developed by private companies. Boeing and SpaceX have been working closely with NASA to each design their own spacecraft to transport astronauts. Boeing's CST-100 Starliner and SpaceX's Crew Dragon are scheduled to complete their 2 test flights in 2019, an unprecedented achievement for commercial space industry. This year, each company will launch an uncrewed test flight followed by a crewed test flight. That large, colorful mural depicts the Starliner in orbit. The building it's on was once the orbiter processing facility for the Space Shuttle program and is now being leased by Boeing. The CST-100 Starliner launches atop an Atlas V rocket made by the United Launch Alliance, or ULA. They currently launch the Atlas V, Delta IV, and Delta IV Heavy rockets. SpaceX launches their Crew Dragon on top of their Falcon 9 rocket. All of these partners are reinvigorating the space community here at Kennedy Space Center and beyond. Every day, we all benefit from the incredible technological advancements that these organizations help make happen. Private space manufacturing and transportation companies like SpaceX, Boeing, United Launch Alliance, Vector, and Lockheed Martin, among others, are seizing the opportunity to launch satellites and perform other low Earth orbit missions.
But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
When President John F. Kennedy made this speech in 1962, he set in motion an era of discovery that would change humankind forever. 7 years after he spoke these ambitious words, the world watched as Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin became the first people to walk on the moon. The achievements of the men and women who worked on the space program in these early decades of NASA helped propel the technology we use every day. NASA and the thriving private space industry at Kennedy Space Center today are the living legacy of their story. As we arrive at the Apollo Saturn V Center to learn more about that historic era, get ready to step back into a time when NASA had everything to prove to a nation focused on one goal: to be the first country to land a person on the moon.
Please check around your seat to make sure